Sharpton's little tiny, greasy, grubby hands was all over this story. I knew it because it's not a race trading grievance story that he has not participated in. I knew his little tiny, grimy, evil hands with his bobble head were all over it. I just knew. And Reverend Al, he tried to claim that he ain't have nothing to do with this Duke Lacrosse case. I want y'all to take a look. Take a look at this line, Negro.
The jury that he used there. So I think, again, this book is not about all of that. This book is about how you do things. But I think that it is the basis of a case. You've got people right now, Willie, that says he shouldn't have got involved in Duke Lacrosse. I didn't get involved in that. Not one time. Never went to North Carolina. But people get carried away in the emotions because they just broad stroke rather than say, well, wait a minute. If there's a claim there and people are being denied their right for redress, why wouldn't civil rights leaders respond?
This number one race hustler is such a liar. And he has never apologized for the flames of racial hatred that he stoked surrounding this story. He never apologized. Never once apologized. According to the Free Beacon, y'all had to dig through the crates for this one. According to the Free Beacon, Al Sharpton, while continuing to defend his involvement in the Tawana Brawley hoax, right? He misleadingly told Morning Joe and the panelists that he wasn't involved in the 2006 Duke Lacrosse rape case. Grape. Did I say? I said grape. Didn't I say grape? Yes, I said grape. He tried to say that he wasn't even involved in that. This bobblehead, as he was being questioned by the co-host William Geist on the Brawley case, Sharpton brought up Duke. He brought up Duke. Now, here's the part that is true. Though he did not physically go to Durham, to say that he was not involved is not entirely true. It's just untrue, right? He spoke out on this issue on national television, and he spoke about this case often. Some of his statements include, and I quote, he says, I think that there are certainly a lot of racial factors. Not these gentlemen are being accused of this, and this female is hurling the accusation here. He's the one that brought up these racial factors. He says whether it is directly in the case, we'll see, because some reports said that there was racial language used. He told Bill O'Reilly in a 2006 interview on Fox News, he went on to say that the public was trying the victim. But as it turns out, we all discovered that the girl's claims of grape were false. It wasn't even true. So then I started digging a little more. I said, okay, so he out here saying that he had nothing to do with this, even though it is on record that he spoke nationally about this story often, right? Then I found out, this was shocking, that even liberal Whoopi Goldberg, you know it's bad when Whoopi call you out. Whoopi Goldberg, she called out Sharpton in 2007 for jumping too swiftly to conclusions about this case. I could not believe it. I actually found the transcript quote of what she said. Now, Whoopi liberal, and she way Trump deranged and liberal now, but at least she had the decency to say, and I quote, she goes, and I know, Al, that you were down there and you were really trying to look out for the folks that thought that they were really being run over. But as it turns out, it wasn't true, she said. And I want you to apologize to them because those kids went through hell. And I think we owe it to them. End quote. Now, I'm I'm curious to know tomorrow on The View, since this just came out, if Whoopi's going to remember that she had said that, and if she is still going to be consistent and offer criticism to the race-baiting Negro Al Sharpton. I doubt it. But that is what she said. And I was shocked. So I'm going to give her credit where credit is due. She was right in that assessment. Has Al Sharpton ever apologized? Heck no. Nah, he ain't apologized. He don't think he did anything wrong. He never apologized. He hadn't apologized for this one, and he hasn't apologized for the Tawana Brawley mishap, right? Never apologized for that fake grape hoax. And he's never apologized to the Duke lacrosse players. Why? Because the man is evil and wicked. And he's always been about the grift, and he has always been out for himself. I have utter contempt for him and his kind, and I will not apologize for it. I went and I did some more digging. And I found, got it right here, I found the partial transcript of an interview that Al Sharpton did on April 18th, 2006. So we're going to go ahead and review this transcript because I thought this was rich. Bill O'Reilly was the host, and this is what Bill O'Reilly says. I could not find the video. I found a link to the video, and it took me to Fox News' website, and they had pulled the video. So all I could do was find the transcript. So unfortunately, y'all, I'm going to have to act this out as if I'm Bill O'Reilly and Al Sharpton. And I don't have an ultra perm like Al does, so I'm going to just do my best. But Bill O'Reilly says, the issue is sometimes, and I think it's important, character has to be evaluated all the time. It needs to be a component that we examine and look at because it can give you a lot of insight and tell you a lot about a person. But see, Al wasn't interested in none of that. He wanted to make this about race, and he kept inserting race into this situation, never once examining the character of this young woman. Then he goes, having said that, I commend a lot of blacks and whites who stood vigil and to come together in that community to stand up for this girl. On the basis of what? Where was the evidence? I get she said what happened. Where was the evidence? So he goes, so I think in the midst of this, there is some good. So O'Reilly goes, why are we standing up for the girl if there is the possibility, based upon evidence, that the girl may have fabricated the story? Why don't we all pull back and let the authorities investigate and let the legal system work? Here goes Sharpton. Well, first of all, the authorities have charged there was a crime. So they're not saying that at all. Second of all, people on any side of an argument have the right to advocate on behalf of who they believe. Thirdly, I think that when the prosecutors went forward, they clearly have said this girl is the victim. So why are we trying the victim and not the... Now, you see how he never answered the question? Bill O'Reilly flat out asked him, I get it, but... why are we standing with the girl when, based upon evidence, that the girl may have fabricated the story? She may have fabricated the story. Al was never interested in the truth. He was always interested in the race-baiting narrative because he's a profiteer off of people's pain. Alleged pain, real pain, manufactured pain. He don't care. He an equal opportunity grifter. He's going to get the bag regardless because he trash. Because that's how you do. O'Reilly goes, I don't want to try anybody. But there is enough evidence that has surfaced here. We have evidence that DNA doesn't match the kids. We have evidence that ABC News uncovered that there is a recording made by a security guard who looked at the victim after she said she was raped and said there was no problem. And we have a police officer who found the victim drunk in a car in a 11, who phoned it in before she went to the hospital. So when you have three elements like that, I say there is reasonable doubt right now. You know what the grand jury proceeding is. Then out Sharpton goes, absolutely. O'Reilly goes, it's a one-sided proceeding. Sharpton goes, but I think that all of the facts that you have laid out, the DA had, and I know this DA is probably not one that is crazy, he would not have proceeded if he did not feel that he could convict. So it tells me that all of what you said is either, listen to this fool, is either not true or he was convincing evidence, or he has convincing evidence that would certainly knock that out, and no one is not letting him proceed. You know, a lot of those community leaders down there, pro and con, wanted a lot of people to come in. I know for a fact. Ask Jesse Jackson to come. We said we don't want to be, and then it says inaudible. O'Reilly goes, so you didn't go down? Jackson did go down. I don't want what happened to Amadou Diallo. Remember Amadou Diallo? Sharpton goes, oh, absolutely. O'Reilly says he was the African immigrant who was shot by police, shot dead here in New York, and there were demonstrations. You were out there demonstrating and all that. And then when the trial came, the jury, which included African Americans, said not guilty. Sharpton, no, you jumped too far. They moved the trial out of town. O'Reilly goes, doesn't matter. Sharpton, it matters a whole lot. If that trial had happened in New York, where people were very clear on that street unit crime, the results would have been different. The case, this reminds me of, Bill, let's talk about the case this parallels. O'Reilly goes, it does. Sharpton goes, this case parallels Abner Louima, who was raped and sodomized in a bathroom like this girl has allegedly she was. That's the case. And just like in the Louima case, you had people here saying she fabricated it. They said he fabricated it. 2 guys in jail right now for that. O'Reilly goes, and that was fine. I'm all for that. And we marched there, says Sharpton. Here's my point, O'Reilly says. The jury system worked in the Louima case. Okay. Sharpton goes, the jury system worked after we were assured by our protest there would be a jury. O'Reilly goes, would you say the jury system worked in the Louima case? Sharpton goes, ultimately. O'Reilly, and I would submit the jury system worked in the Diallo case as well. Sharpton, no, I wouldn't. O'Reilly, because you didn't get the verdict you wanted? Sharpton, the change of venue. O'Reilly, so what? That's what they ruled. Here come this. I'm about tired of reading this because I want to slap the paper as if it was Al Sharpton, because this dude is just trash. He is a horrible person, y'all. Sharpton, even then, we accepted it as something we disagree with. Nobody is burning down New York. Nobody is burning down Durham. I think what I don't accept is for people to act like this young lady, no matter what her profession. There you go. That's the linchpin that I want to talk about. I want to talk about why no one ever is concerned with the character of these people who bring these accusations. Character matters. I know y'all think that it don't, but it does. Character matters. He goes, and I think people need to know she is a mother. See how they always try to glamorize and gloss over and they want to control the narrative. Like they did with Trayvon Martin, showing that picture of that boy in middle school like he wasn't halfway practically grown. Or they always show, the sanitized version of the victim that they're trying to create. They don't ever show you who the person actually was at the time when they committed whatever heinous crime or race hoax that they were actually charged with. They always want to paint the other narrative to emotionally get you riled up, because race is the thing they know. If you worship that melanin and you bring up ethnicity as a component, that it makes people scatter like roaches that are white and rouse up others if they are black. That's why they do it. Why am I bringing all of this up? Because this stripper knew. She knew that she could holler and pull the race card, and everything about her character would get ignored and glossed over as if it really wasn't that important. That's my opinion. That is my opinion. That is the assertion that I am making. They knew, she knew, I believe everyone who was supporting her knew that if we make this about race, everything about her character would be ignored. She knew that there was some race-trading pulpit pimp and low-down civil rights worker that would be eager to jump on the bandwagon and champion her because she, like so many Black Americans, we have been taught and trained to use ethnicity. That's your Trump. That's your get out of jail free card. That's your Trump card to overshadow the lack of character and deficiencies in virtue that you may have. This chick had a lot of issues. She had a whole lot of stuff going on. Yes, she was a single mom, but she was also a stripper and an escort and had a history of issues that probably led her down this path. And now we've learned she's currently serving time in prison for stabbing a boyfriend and murder, like she killed him. But we are trained. We are trained and obligated that no matter how poor your character is, no matter what you are failing to do or not do in your life, if you didn't graduate high school, if your mama is a crackhead, if your daddy was a pimp, if you didn't get picked for the varsity team, they didn't let you sing the lead solo at church, it don't matter what it is. You are never responsible for your own actions, and therefore, it's okay to use your race as the reason and the crutch for why you may be failing in the character department. That's why I want to talk about this. Don't you guys know? Y'all don't know that race is the most important attribute ever? Yes! Your ethnicity is the most important attribute about yourself. This is what they want you to believe. The way our kids and the way our young people have been taught and trained and indoctrinated, and how we are raising them to believe, and we are crippling them over this ideology because they are being told that it's not your character that matters. It's your ethnicity. It's your ethnicity, and they are not stressing the importance of you got to lead with good character. Instead, they are being told that it's their ethnicity that's the most important. And I'm here to tell you, ethnicity is nothing more than a reflection of God's glory. I say it all the time. It is not something to be used as an excuse or to be pitied. Full stop. If somebody don't like you because of your ethnicity, who the heck cares? So what? So what? But what are we teaching our children? We're teaching them that if somebody doesn't like them because of their race, that now they need to go and march. They need to go and demand what they want. They want to burn the city down. Okay. They want to sue. Let's go ahead and draw up the papers. They want to do everything. And they want to train our children to do everything except look at themselves and to self-reflect. They're just going to keep going to the well of the race grievance, lowering down that bucket and just drinking from it. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Standard of Truth podcast. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to check out the Standard Home and Living lifestyle store at standardhomeandliving.com. We've got everything from book studies, journals, and even podcast merch, so you can take a piece of this conversation with you wherever you go. And of course, be sure to follow me on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok for more updates, behind the scenes, and daily insights. You can also stay connected at thestandardofTruthpodcast.com, where you'll find all the latest news and events, including live events coming to a town near you. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Until next time, keep standing firm in the truth. Grace and peace.